Good morning out there. I'm doing an impromptu show this morning. Wasn't really planning on it, but hey, it's a rainy Sunday morning, not a rainy Sunday show. But I ended up getting home last night. And after running errands and going to the movies and doing a few things, I found myself sitting on the couch. And I was, as much as you can do on the fantastic Roku, I ended up kind of channel surfing a little bit. And I finally did it. I didn't want to do it. I had a bad feeling about it. But I finally ended up checking out a couple episodes of Batman the Caped Crusader, which is on Amazon Prime. And of course, I've heard a few things. I saw the trailers and things like that. And usually I will just sort of try to form my own opinion on watching something. There's times you can tell something's going to be messed up. Um, but I like to try to, check it out first, make sure I like it. It's worked in my favor a few times. Then there's times I tortured myself, like the first time I watched Twilight back in like 2009 or 10 to see what all the fuss was about. That's what I mean. Sometimes a spade is just a spade. Hey, good morning, John C. Make sure you like, subscribe, sub, and then like John C, hit that bell so you know when these things happen and stuff, right? Hopefully the lighting is good. I played around with a few things. We have a rainy day outside, and I wanted to hurry up and do this because I had things to do today, but I enjoy coming here and spending a little time with all you wonderful people out there. Get a cup of coffee on this early Sunday morning. It is August 18th, 2024. And I tell you what, the hellblazer of a summer is slowly coming to a close, and I'm going to be so glad to see fall here. We have less than 100 days to Halloween, which blows my mind because that was my favorite holiday as a kid. And in that little small town I was in, that kind of made me weird, and I just thought everybody was stupid. And now it seems like it's everybody's favorite holiday, which blows my mind. And good morning, John Jones. Yes, a little bit of an early one. A little bit of an early one. Um, and like I said, August 18th, 2024. It is now 8:55, and I'm so glad you guys are spending this time with me, right? So just to kind of stall a little bit and let a few people get here. I'm not going to stall too long and stuff, man. But in the 90s, a wonderful thing happened because of the 1989 Tim Burton movie. And a guy named Bruce Timm, who was a Jack Kirby fan, and everybody who ended up working underneath him on this show. If they didn't know Kirby, he made them take a whole deep dive into Jack Kirby and stuff, right? You could also see a little bit of Hanna-Barbera, and Bruce Timm had been, around animation for quite a while, I think through the 70s and things like that. But in 89, we got the great Tim Burton movie with Michael Keaton, and this kind of goes with what I wanted to make sure I did, because I was one of those people that when they cast Michael Keaton as Batman, my 16-year-old self, I was young. I always admit that I'm wrong, even though we're 35 years past it and stuff. But I humbly learned my lesson. But I was like, Beetlejuice, Mr. Mom, Johnny Dangerously, that's your Batman. And then we see the movie and it's like, oh, that is the Batman. So I learned my lesson. So, which is one of the reasons I made sure to try to watch Batman the Crepe Crusader and anything other than that. I try to at least watch it, read it, experience it before I give an opinion, So, make sure I'm informed, I'm awake and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, man, I was very disappointed. And I'm actually going to show my Instagram to show my instant review. There were some comments on there, so I'll be going to the phone to read what people said. It doesn't show up here. I don't know why. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what Bruce Timm has said. And try to keep it in the context. A lot of people have a knee-jerk reaction. But Bruce Timm felt that the Batman, and I saw it, he said it, Batman has a lack of good villains. Now, for anyone who is not Batman oriented, comic book oriented, casual viewer, a tourist in the hobby and genre of superheroes, comic books, indie books, anything, everything that is out there that has ever had to do with Batman. Batman has been heralded for many things. A trick that they need to remember nowadays is that a hero is only as good as his villains. It is the villains that prove our hero. Okay, that's how you know. And Batman is heralded as having one of the greatest cast of rogues ever in comics. We have him. We have Spider-Man. To a certain extent, I throw in the Flash on a personal basis and stuff, right? But heroes are only as great as their villains, and Batman has some of the greatest villains ever. Um, Now, what really got me about Bruce Timm saying this about Batman's Rogues Gallery is that he and Paul Dini um, had a hand in creating in actually reinvigorating a lot of those great villains and stuff, right? Mr. Freeze and Hearts of Ice, which actually won an award. What was it, an Emmy or something? And then we have Paul Dini and Bruce Timm had a hand in it, and they brought it to comics, stuff like that. But Harley Quinn, which enhanced the Joker, it could have been one of the, it could have been very cheesy, you know. And we're not talking like Batman '66 cheesy and campy, right? So they have actually done that. So I would really like to. My first knee jerk reaction was, "Oh, I got to see what Bruce Timm said." Okay, I want to see the context of this. Is basically what I was saying, you know, in an instant thought there, right? Um, it's got to be, you know, there's something here. People are misquoting him, and I'm like, no, he said it. So, and a lot of this came from the fact that the Penguin was gender swapped, and you know, and well, we're just at a time where if you are able to handle this and enjoy things and like them, you know, good for you. But people have said some of these movies, it's superhero fatigue. There's probably a small percentage in the big picture of superhero fatigue for why a lot of movies have gone up and down, and you always have a big hit like Deadpool versus Wolverine that'll hit, that'll prove everybody wrong. And like, are you going to learn from this? But what people are fatigued about are the gender swapping and the box checking and everything that is unnecessary that does not serve the story. And then there are things that people know are missing if they don't have the words on it. And we'll talk about that, right? So the biggest thing is like I said, Bruce Timm, a wonderful thing happened because of that Tim Burton movie. Because what we got out of it was Batman the animated series, highly influenced and directly happened. You know, they even brought in the Oingo Boingo guy to, you know, do the Batman theme and everything like that. And then they brought the noir back to it. We got this great Fox cartoon on Saturday mornings that has ended up becoming the Batman. Man, I usually have lighting issues, and tonight we are just all about the light. A lot of white light in here tonight, man. It's like a Ramones concert in here. So we got several seasons, several episodes of something that ended up with Kevin Conroy being the voice, a lot of people's favorite Batman. We got seasons after seasons of these high quality, fantastic animated Batman, the animated series in the 90s, and actually brought him back for a fourth season. And this led to like this Bruce Timm verse, you know, Paul Dini writing some stuff, and they brought in other people. And they were pulling from the comics of Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. They were pulling from the Fleischer cartoons of the 40s with Superman, those that are just legendary. And it blows my mind that they're, you know, right at or a little over 80 years old and people still talk about him. So we got like the ultimate Batman. They were pulling in classic stories, you know, that they were pulling, you know, for Batman, and haven't had adaptations of them that you just never would believe you would see in things if you were a Batman fan, especially if from the 70s, if you will, right? So they got it right. And for a lot of people, that little bubble and the setting of that Batman the Animated Series is that it had a touch of noir already. And in noir, Basically, you can think of your Sam Spade, your Maltese Falcon, and things like that. But the trick of it is that the city, Frank Miller did this in Sin City. That's why it blows my mind when comic book people may not know this or catch on to it. Frank Miller, did that with Sin City, and he tried to do that with the Spirit big time in that movie, in his Spirit movie that I use for ASMR. But I don't hate the movie, but it's very relaxing. Okay, it's very minimalistic to where like I can watch that thing, and it's better than white noise, brown noise, and blueberry noise. But anyway, Gotham City itself was a character. That's what Tim Burton also did with his Batman movie of 1989. In Noir, the city is a character, and everybody that is in the city has the potential to be a character. Okay. So it was already there. And then we had things like little black and white TVs, little touches of car design, a little American deco in there to where you couldn't quite put the Batman the Animated Series into a year. But if you said it was the 40s, you could probably get by with that a little bit. Or set in the 80s or present time, it's all kind of there. There's a lot of Art Deco stuff. And Mr. Freeze, what they did with Mr. Freeze, Mike Mignola came in, and he's the guy that redesigned Mike Mignola. And then Paul Dini and them wrote the story, Heart of Ice, which gave the show credibility, right? It was all about story and character and serving that story in that character. And then all of a sudden we get Batman, the Caped Crusader that gets announced. Bruce Timm is coming back. And this is going to be Batman in the 40s, the 30s, and it's going to be noir, and it is going to be mature, is what it was supposed to be, and everything like that. And I was doubtful just because of the nature of the beast from the last 9 years. Or if you really are into comics, we could go back to 2010 and 11 with, the 52, the DC 52, and we won't even, things like that, right? So I tried to go into this very unbiased, right? Unbiased. And let's go ahead and read my review here. I want to share, bear with me. Let's get this to share, if you will. We're going to present. All righty. So as you can see right here, this is my Instagram. If you don't have me on Instagram, please come over there and join me there. It's Howler Mouse. And I'm gonna have to go to my phone because for some reason comments don't show up when you share the screen here. But this was last night, 13 hours ago. So we are talking what, 9:30 last night, maybe? That doesn't sound right. But anyway, maybe more like 7:30, guys, 7 o'clock, something like that. But we have Howler Mouse here. This is me. This is my Instagram. I got a little bit of reactions last night. Got a few reactions here. But anyway, Caped Crusader on Amazon. Couldn't finish the first episode. The penguin being gender swapped served no purpose. It did not make the character more interesting. If anything, it made you stop thinking about and immersing yourself in the fact that you're watching a Batman story. If anything, it takes you out of it because people are very informed of the last 9 years of checking off boxes and claiming inclusion and doing all this stuff like that. People start thinking about that, okay, the ideology or just whatever they call it in their head, and it automatically takes them out of the story. That's where we're at now, okay? So anyway, couldn't finish the first episode. I actually couldn't, even if that was the regular penguin. It just laid flat on the floor. It didn't spark. Made it through the second episode, and I did that because I'd already seen a design for Clayface. The second episode has Clayface in it. And this is where I started realizing that this is a poor man's Batman the Animated Series is what they were doing, okay? A lot of unnecessary character revamps and changes that are just pure aesthetic. They don't serve the story, and I'll get to that, to what that really should have been, because everybody is starting to get the same ideas, even though people here on YouTube and longtime comic book people have been saying the same thing, make new characters. But anyway, the second episode and the third, and I made it through the second episode, and like I said, the Clayface design is why I stuck around, because basically they dressed him up like the Shadow. I thought we were going to get some noir and some pulp feel to it, okay? Our Sandman Mystery Theater, if you will, right? And the third episode is so gripping that I am on Instagram. They brought in the Catwoman. They have Catwoman in my favorite design of her. They brought her back in the split dress. It's what I call it, but basically she's in her purple dress. Can't remember if she had the cat of nine tails or not and stuff, right? But it has the splits up the side with the boots and everything like that. That's my favorite version of Catwoman. I'm old school, man. Okay. So here's some of the things instant reaction. It's all about what could have been. And that's what I feel about this show. Batman in the 40s doesn't feel like it a bit. No 40s slang, no references. I could expand it on that, right? But it just didn't feel like the 40s. It's like they did bare minimum. Like they should have looked at some Will Eisner spirit on how to show you a grate on top of a gutter to make you feel like you're in the 40s. The idea that you just see a table leg or just the top of a phone. There's little things they could have done to build that world, right? Or in no simple historical references going on. If we're in the 40s, are we talking about World War II? Are we after World War II? There's a lot of things going on, okay? And like I may have missed something in that second episode. Apparently, Gotham City has its own Hollywood. Okay, all right. The show has been described to be for a mature audience, and we've got a whole movie studio and stuff for the Clayface to run around in. Not a theater to play. They even threw in a little Errol Flynn swashbuckling Robin Hood there with between Batman and Clayface, and it really didn't work. They were trying to be majestic, and it didn't work. Right? Pulp Roots? Question mark. Nope. Just Clayface with the shadows closed. Just when the story has a chance to pop, they blow it for the benefit of the invisible modern audience that never seems to show up for anything that I've been looking for since 2016. So it's so unnecessary. There's nothing wrong with Batman saving a woman, but no, they have to kill the momentum and take the viewer out of the story. What happened is that the second episode they were trying to really be Renee Montoya centric with her, building her character up, having Batman bug her, and I don't know who the butler is. It's supposed to be Alfred, but it's Hercule Poirot for some reason. I don't know, but anyway, he puts a bug, a listening device, if you will, in the 40s on Renee Montoya. She doesn't find it, and he's like, I think she's uncorruptible. She's going to be my friend. So, it looks like it's not going to be Alfred. It's not going to be, Jim Gordon anymore. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter because Jim Gordon and Barbara Gordon are not in it. There's two people posing as them, claiming to be them. So and nobody seems to notice, right? So basically, what they did is that Batman, Clayface had kidnapped an actress. Batman was there kicking butt. He could have come in and saved the day. But it's all right for him to fight Clayface, but they had to be sure to have Renee save the actress because you cannot have a man apparently save a woman these days. I don't know what's up with that. But no, they have to. I mean, let's face it, man. It's 1977. Princess Leia saved Han and Luke once or twice there in the first movie. Seriously. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with the Batman saved women. No. And that killed the momentum and took me out of the story and the viewer out of the story when they have to disrupt an organic plot line to make sure that they show that a woman has saved a woman. And again, there's nothing wrong with a woman saving a woman, but it's the Batman show, not the Renee Montoya show. Okay. There was no reason for Renee to feel like she needed to. Usually, if another character saves another character in a story, there's a little bit of a redemption story going on there, or there's a reason that you're building up to it. Okay. There's a reason for you to cheer for that character when they did it. Like they finally accomplished something, that's called character development and stuff. If they served the story, gave the characters actual personalities, nobody was acting, everybody was interchangeable. Seriously, man. And made the 1940s Gotham City a character, this could have been something. It's basically a lazy version of Batman the Animated Series, and I have more there, but it's not showing up. So, yeah, we have that. Okay. Um, so, yeah, we have that. Okay. So let's take before we get to Bruce Timm and talk more about it. Let's see who has popped up because man, good morning everybody. All right, John C. What do we have to say here? 35 years, dang times fly by. I remember the Batman t-shirts everywhere when that movie come out. I already had mine. I actually got to drive to New York from Virginia. I had a grandfather who worked for this fabric company in town, and apparently it was a sewing factory, okay, and they got their fabric apparently from New York. That was their parent company, right? So for some reason, I had a girl come down from Philadelphia to see me and go to the carnival with me. And I guess to get my parents, I'd like to think they did it to get me away from the girl, but I don't know. I was very upset about it, turned into a whole thing, but I ended up driving with him because supposedly the step granddad was so old he couldn't see. And if he couldn't see, he shouldn't be driving anyway. So they stick me and my brother in there and we drive to New York. So I'm in New York for 20 minutes. And somehow I remember going over a bridge. I saw the Statue of Liberty. We unloaded the fabric that we were taking back up there with a bunch of guys. And I looked down and I shouldn't have picked anything up off New York City sidewalks. Maybe I pissed on that wall for all I know. But Batman was so huge that somebody had taken a stack of cardboard and made a bunch of Batman symbols on it. And I was like, oh, that's cool, and flipped through it and stuff, right? And then somehow I could see what I think was oh god, I've already lost what it's called, man. I can't believe this. Times Square. Somehow I saw a little bit of Times Square and I saw the big screen of the Batman symbol. And I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And then we ended up going down to Jersey, spending the night, and we were near a high school. And I saw, I got up to eat breakfast and stuff. We saw all the kids actually walking to school and stuff. And I saw all about why Bon Jovi made songs about girls from Jersey. Wow. You know, to this day, I'm still like, whoa. Batman had some of the most distinctive villains. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute here, right? Hey, good morning, Comic Collector. Good to see you. Hippies Collectibles. We got an old school OG comic book YouTuber there, brother. I lasted about 15 minutes into the first episode. Yeah, me too. Female penguin, thought it was an alternate universe or something. They could have come up with any excuse. I mean, it made no, there was no reason for it. Here we go. Paolo, Paolo, I didn't think you were going to be here. It's Sunday, brother. All right. Golden Age Alfred was portly. Yeah, it's like I don't know what they're doing. No, it's not Alfred. There is a Golden Age butler. I believe he was Alfred and stuff that was portly, but they gave him the mustache. They didn't go with that design. Okay. That's not a unique take with a Golden Age butler. God, what was I think Zero Hour? I think during Zero Hour in the '90s they brought him back a little bit. Bruce Timm doesn't seem to know what he's working with now. His head andropause. I don't know. What I'm hoping is I'm hoping it's marketing. I keep hoping that somebody else has made him do this, right? So I'm going to go see if this works. Let's just skip on over to what Bruce Timm said. See if that pops up. Nope. So give me a minute, guys. Let me share. All right. So, like I said, if you don't have me on Instagram, pop up because I'll do things like that. And let's go straight into Bruce Timm's squat. Now, guys, right before I got on here is when I decided to try to look up and show you guys what Bruce Timm said. So I'm just now realizing that when I did a Google search for this, you know, a bunch of videos came up. A lot of people came up. I've seen people's already talked about this. I personally was waiting to see if Bruce Timm had a follow up for his comments on this, and I just realized that I went with some Cosmic Comics or something website, and I just realized I have not read this article. And I still have a mindset a little bit of my days of reading Wizards and Amazing Heroes and Ain't It Cool News and stuff, that things sort of had if they were biased, it wasn't that bad, but it was a little bit more rounded. So let's see what happens here. So let me share screen, see what we end up getting. All right. Let me make sure that's the right one. Yes, look at this. Look at me getting all technical. Okay, guys. So this is the, if you haven't seen it, if you've been living under a rock, Bruce Timm, long time. Okay, first of all, sorry guys, let me be professional. Cosmic Book of News. I don't think I played around with this site. Bruce Timm gender swapped the Penguin because Batman lacks good villains. Bruce Timm, longtime DC animated producer James Tucker, explains the reasoning behind Batman the Caped Crusader. Now, here's my deal, right? Here's what I'm hoping in my head. My bias here is that I'm hoping that after this thing had been released, the whole series had not popped. Nobody was really talking about it in any substantial way, right? So they've already gender swapped the penguin, and that's probably for the kids because that's what they seem to be into now. Whether it makes sense, there's never a story that makes these stronger characters. The story apparently is not. This is what blows my mind. The story, no matter what it is, even with wrestling, you can watch 100 wrestling matches, but if there's no story in that wrestling match, it means nothing and it's forgettable. It's all about how it makes you feel. And this show does not make you feel anything. It just makes you go, why did they do that? Because it does not make any sense. Um, Unless you have been desensitized to it. So, according to Bruce Timm and James, who wrote this? Matt McGlowan. No idea who that is. Oh, so according to Bruce Timm and James Tucker, instead of creating new characters, this is what I'm saying. People, there's a zeitgeist out there for people who are so tired of this stuff. Why don't you make new characters? That's the whole deal. They tried to say that they want to do representation, but it sounds horrible when they say that because what they're saying is that they say they need to do representation, but they can't elevate them quick enough on their own. So what they're admitting is that they don't know how to elevate a character and make them popular. So we're just going to replace ones that are already popular. That's horrible. You've just traded one terrible thing for another terrible thing is all you've done. I usually don't get this opinionated on it, right? But this has been going on for so years. Everybody, like I said, is coming up with the same conclusions. Instead of creating new characters, since Batman doesn't have any good villains, they decided to gender swap Penguin in the Cape Crusader. What I'm hoping is that where this didn't pop and as it didn't piss people off like they wanted it to and get things going, so I would like to think, in my opinion, that somebody said, what can we say that will get people pissed off and have them get online and get a buzz and get us trending? And that is to say that Batman doesn't have good villains. That's what I'm hoping this really is, but they're playing it straight. I would like to think it was something else, right? Batman doesn't have any good villains. The pair decided to gender swap Penguin in the Batman Cape Crusader animated series was also hails from Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams. And if you like J.J. Abrams, good. If you don't, his track record is really weird to me, right? He ends up coming in reinvigorating a lot of franchises and stuff, and then it just all turns into a mess. And he ends up like they just die. They slowly die. Everything he's touched has been horrible. And it starts out so good. Okay, but anyway, the episode and the character are actually pretty decent. But after watching, I felt there was no need to change the penguin from Oswald to Oswalda. It was actually a waste of a cool character, a character that could have been able to stand on their own and be her own character, and a character that could have been further developed. Why not just make her a new character? Now, this is how I felt about the Master when they turned the Master into a female on Doctor Who years ago. And I can probably think of other characters where they've done this. Instead of like letting that actress develop that character and be a freaking fantastic new villain for Doctor Who, they ended up just having, the big deal be gender swapped, not what they could have done with that character. Like, that's enough, right? So this person is exactly right. This is the kind of thinking that people have had for years, and everybody is starting to kind of dovetail in pop culture that watches this stuff of like, yeah, why not just do that? But of course, it's all about the agenda, which seems a lot of fans have turned their noses up to the series. It's so obvious now for a lot of people. It's impossible for a lot of people to actually give this stuff a fair shake. That's why I took my time and tried to make sure I was in the right mindset. And isn't that amazing now that you have to prepare yourself to sit down and watch something that you've been a fan of for your entire life, and it has been around since before you were born, and will hopefully be around long after You were born if they can survive all this stuff that they're doing to sabotage these franchises. It's like a wasteland out there, man. Getting back to what Bruce Timm, James Tucker, long time said, they explained to the Emmys why they made the choice. James and I were talking about the overview of the show. One of the problems with Batman is he has a lack of good villains. You've got to be kidding me. You've got Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with any of those characters right there? What's wrong with any of those? Okay, there's no explanation here, right? And I don't think he's saying there's anything wrong with them. I think he's trying to point out that, well, here's the good ones, even after he just said there's a lack of good ones. But it would be really good to have more female villains. You've got to be kidding me on this, right? I didn't realize, I thought I was going to come in here and be kind of level headed and even kill about this. This is ridiculous, man. Oh, and off the top of my head, we've never really figured out exactly what to do with the penguin, what the gimmick for the penguin would be. What if we gender flip the penguin? So you're saying, let's just do this lazy writing. That's exactly what that is. And I would like to think more that you were taking a bullet because you were told to do it with some character. And you're like, we'll just do it with the penguin and not touch some of these other classic ones. I mean, you didn't go after Raj Al Ghul. And in the 40s, Raj Al Ghul is alive, guys. Um, when he said maybe we could gender flip penguin, I just got the flood of ideas. I was thinking of Marlene Dietrich in her tuxedo and cabaret and the music and the art form of cabaret. I just started drawing. I instantly got a flood of ideas. Okay, so make a new character who is inspired by cabaret because that's what you did with Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was inspired from an actress from Days of Our Lives who dressed up like a clown slash Harley Quinn on Days of Our Lives, and her accent and voice was what made it pop. So yeah, you could have redone that formula. Harley Quinn. You went dark with her. Got to do something with her. And then they get into the woke stuff. And guys, I'm going to pop out of this one right here. I'm not really interested in getting into deep dives about woke and all that stuff like that. Plenty of other channels are doing them. They're more invested. I have seen it to where I'm sort of kind of numb with it. If you guys want me to talk about it, you can leave comments and stuff, and I will have no problem doing that. So let's see what we have here. Victor Shade. Thinking Denny may be the better story guy here. That's another thing that's come out of this. Some of the knee-jerk reactions I saw, like on X and a few other things. I wished I took notes. I didn't know I was going to do this and stuff, right? But they're saying, I get, their knee-jerk reactions. They're like, well, I guess Paul Denny was the main creator. Yeah, Paul Denny's awesome. I was happy when he got back on the comics and stuff. But a few years ago, he did a story, a real-life Batman tale. That was absolutely horrible. I thought it was horrible. Paul Denny came off as a self-loathing person because it was this story of him getting mugged in real life, and he was beat so bad during that mugging that he claims he started seeing Batman talk to him, telling him to get up, don't be a pussy, or whatever, right? So he writes this story as a big hard shot, one shot, maybe about 8 years ago. I get it all excited. Didn't really have expectations, but I'm like, Paul Dini's a hell of a writer, and it was some of the most self-loathing stuff that I'd ever read. And Paul Dini really did not present himself, in my opinion, in a very good light. And I don't know if that was by design or what and stuff, right? So great creator, but don't meet your heroes is what I'm beginning to think. If we need outside the box Batman villains, lean on the Talia. Bring back Mockingbird. I mean, there's all kinds of there's plethora. Nocturna, Talia. I mean, I can sit here. I can go down the list. There's been all sorts of one-shot women, female characters. And why is it so important to have a female character anyway if you don't have the fucking story? That's my thing, just sticking in a character, just clicking off a box so you can click off a box. You know how DC used to create? Julius Schwartz would tell somebody, draw this cover. I want somebody throwing a grenade, but you have the atom tied to it. And then that writer would be handed the freaking cover and was like, write the story. That's how they used to be creative. If you need outside the box villains, lean on Talia as a femme fatale, or work more with Clayface for in Mr. Freeze's resurrected wife. Right? Can you imagine Talia walking in the 1940s on Batman, walking through there like Sans Serif from freaking The Spirit? You know what I mean? You talk about a femme fatale, man. And then that female cabaret villain where they're going with the penguin and stuff. Can you imagine her actually coming more off like Mae West? I mean, it's all there. There's so much there they could do. If necessary, push Catwoman's protector Holly for a more active cat burger. Bring in Nisa Al Ghul, um, and as a more bloodthirsty than Talia. But look at this, right? Palo should be on the freaking show running things because it's right there. You know what I mean? Like it's a clear vision to Palo, right? Because he knows Batman. And anybody that knows Batman can come up with stuff like this because they really messed up a noir Batman. You know what I mean? These are great ideas. Oh, yeah, I know Catwoman's protege. You're at the right place, sir. You're at the right place. Or even borrow Chesser or turn Vicky Vale as Bruce Timm's girlfriend, but have a mat on for vigilantes. See, it's all there. It is all right there. Or a great idea I just had. If you want to gender flip the character, make KG Beast a role and bring a new one who's a woman. KG Beast and Beauty and KG Beast. Beauty and the KG Beast. I could see it in my head, right? I thought the Timmverse ended with the Justice League Unlimited. Don't forget Asian Harley Quinn. Wrestling needs a logical. I don't think I made it that far to where I saw the Harley Quinn episode. I made it halfway through the first one. You must have, okay, great, man. I don't know if you saw it. Check out my Instagram. I actually went there and showed it. I made it halfway through the first episode, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to say 15. Couldn't finish that one. Went to the second one, made it through that one. The third one, I was in and out. And then I think I quit halfway through the fourth one. Forget about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I can't even tell you what the fourth one was about. I don't know. It took me so out. It was horrible. Beauty and the KG Beast. That's the episode title right there. Yeah, that's what I mean, Cal Palo. We can do this. Anybody that's a Batman fan could come in and do this. You know what I mean? But I think we got something, right? I think we got something. I think there's a spark there. I think there's like lightning in a bottle. Okay. So yeah, we could do that. Because as you're saying this stuff, it's forming in my head, even when you were being funny with the one comment, I think, so, So is this something to be mad and outrageous about? No, I hope it goes into obscurity and is forgotten about, like a few other projects that I've actually said that it will come, it will play, it would disappear. You hear people talking about a lot of those Marvel Disney Plus television series. No, I said it would come, it would go. The Eternals have even faded away. Okay, all right. Eternals have faded away. Secret Invasion, nobody really talks about it. The only person talking about She-Hulk is the actress because supposedly she was cut out of the Deadpool Wolverine movie, even for small roles. And I thought I read something where supposedly she might be doing legal action, which I don't know. They do things to get noticed. So there's even things getting dropped left and right that go into obscurity. And that's kind of why I think what's going to happen with this, unless they really turn around and improve it. Now, structurally, this is the stuff that makes people snore. Structurally, with the stories and stuff, that's what kills me, right? That's what kills me because I saw a lot of places that this could have been cool, or if they went further with that, or if they really committed. They didn't commit to anything, right? Anytime anything started getting going or started feeling like a little bit of noir, you felt like they were making a 40s movie there for half a second. They had to come in with the agenda, and it's that bad. So let me read some comments on Instagram that I couldn't show you guys to show what people had to say on there. Now, a lot of times over the years for long-time viewers and stuff, back when I was a bit more topical and philosophical, and I would have some story about life or something that some message I want to put out, I would bring a comic book as the example of the theme and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff would happen from talking to my friends, seeing comments and stuff and things that triggered it that way, right? And some of the comments on this, like I said, you can go to my Instagram and stuff, right? Let me see if I can pull them up. Oh wow, man! Thanks for somebody has been liking. I've got a few more likes on that, so thanks. Tim the Comic Collector, go check out the Comic Collector. I think that's his channel. He's running a contest right now. He had to say, I have such a high regard for the original. I won't even attempt to watch this and stain my memory of the Dennyverse. And I told him it made me dig out these DVDs of the original stuff, man. Nerd Cops X. Oh man, that's disappointing to hear. See, there's some people that have no interest in this because they saw it. Then we have Scott, he's Power Slave 214 out there. Scott liked it. He said he couldn't possibly disagree more, but he didn't really retort back. I said, if you can sit through and enjoy it, that's awesome. Von Jacksman said, after much deliberation, I think I'd rather watch the Crow reboot. Funnily enough, I went and watched the new Alien movie yesterday and saw the trailer. I guess it's a newer trailer for the Crow reboot that thus far has kind of looked like a mess. What was really wild about it is that it's not the Crow, but with what they've done, or maybe the editing for the trailer and stuff, there's kind of a cool revenge story there, but it's not the Crow. If they hadn't have made it the Crow and probably got away from trying to make a Crow, I got a feeling the plot could have been good for something else. I don't know, right? I don't want to say I'm not going to go watch that. I never know. You know what I mean? Big D's collectibles. I watched the first episode with a lot of excitement. I barely made it through half the second episode. I hear you. Uh, a Bob Sheepdog. It's terrible. I made it to episode 4, as much as I did, purely out of loyalty to the character in Batman the Animated Series, but the whole new level of shite. 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 That's correct. Unwatchable. That's what he says. Night Tiger Comics. It sucks. Looks like it's 4 exclamation points. All right. I tried watching this garbage. Worst Batman TV series ever. See, there was one other Batman show where it was computer animated, and I tried to give it a chance, and that's faded into obscurity. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think is going to happen with this in the long run. Coolness Incorporated. Now, this is a good one. Seriously, how do you screw up noir Batman? Here's an anthology. I remember reading Sandman Mystery Theater in the 90s. Exactly. Uh, if you've seen this channel, you've seen me finally collect the whole series. I'm about 50 issues in of 70, I think. It's fantastic. That should have been the inspiration for this show. In the 1990s, and loving that presentations of 1930s New York while still reflecting on the issues that affected modern society. It was balanced stories. They had a purpose, a theme. They were using literature, literal in their story. I'm making it sound more than what it was, you know what I'm saying? But the stories made sense and had a theme, and things fit in there if they want to talk about some social issues, right? It was more balanced storytelling. If you'd read the book, you know how dark it could get, yet it was ultimately just good stories that actually inspired heroism. And that's the thing that I seem to be seeing a lot things missing of, is that it's not all right to be a hero. They screwed up the X-Men so bad. I finally saw some X-Men during that Krakoa era, where I actually saw a fight where the X-Men were killing people left and right, and Kitty Pryde had phased some foreign object onto somebody's head and then let it go. That's not Kitty Pryde. It doesn't matter. If I saw those X-Men, I'd have to find out who's it's the Squadron Supreme all over with. Somebody's controlling them. You know what I mean? Like, no. Anyway, but they forget that these are heroes. They don't have to be perfect heroes. Anyway, let me get on here. Dude, I could write a whole essay on Diane Belmont's characterization as a strong female lead in a time where the patriarchy was a lot more of a thing than it is now. See, there used to be a reason for all this, right? People think they're stuck back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're not. They ignore those compliments among all civil rights and stuff, right? There's a level of mature storytelling and respect for the audience that seems to be missing too. And I agreed with them, because I actually was just talking to a guy at work about Sandman Mystery Theater, because he watched the Cape Crusader, and it's in my comment. But what I said is that the Grendel versus Shadow miniseries by Matt Wagner and stuff, I need to get the rest of those. But it's fantastic because Rose Hunter figures out that he's been transported back to the 30s. He's standing on a rooftop looking at the skyline of New York at night. And he figures out what era he's in because he can smell the lead and the gasoline and the sounds and stuff. And it really puts you in there. That's what this is missing, the Cape Crusader. Hermit 92, I quit the show so fast I started rewatching the Batman animated series again. I was so mad I hated it. And then Gringo Brandino, I feel your pain. I made it through about 10 minutes of the first episode before tapping out. So to me, it just lays there flat on the floor, no spark, no lightning in the bottle, no emotional journey there, all because they have to interrupt the flow and worry more about the check boxes, man. This is supposed to be an experience. You watch things for an emotional reaction, even though you don't know it, or things like that. And this will like start getting going, and then it just flatlines, and it's all about other things. Yeah, so give me a break. Comic Collector, oh, you're here, man. Yeah, go Comic Collector. Thank you for the shout out. Does this count as a video for your contest there, Comic Collector? Anyway, check out his channel. I saw the video last night about him having a contest. Show some support for him. That's fantastic. Also, those WB direct. See, I could turn this camera around, Gray man, and pull out all of those. I have in this room over here. I have 95% of my superhero DVDs and movies and cartoons, TV shows from the 70s, from Wonder Woman to Land of the Lost, Johnny Quest, Venture Brothers, the whole Dennyverse, Batman Beyond, all the straight to DVD videos, Kick Ass, Deadpool, X-Men, Watchmen, Ultimate Cuts, things like that, man. Also, those DVD direct-to-video movies kind of killed any 40s nostalgia with Batman. I doubt that Noir Batman could have been done, and Death in the Family could have been done, Death in the Family Justice. We still associate Robin with Dick Grayson. Yeah, and he hasn't been Robin for 40 years, I believe. Even when they killed Robin and he was Jason Todd, the mainstream media that picked up on it got a little bit riled because they thought it was the Batman Dick Grayson from the TV show. They had to explain that it wasn't. Okay, so that's why I mean you can't really mess with the formula. Some of this pop culture. This is our mythology, our modern mythology, and it is ingrained in society, even for the normies and the tourists, the people who really aren't into this. But hey, look at this. Let's watch this movie. And that's as far as they go. You know what I mean? This is ingrained. It's Superman, Lois, Chief, Jimmy Olsen, Kryptonite, Krypton, Jor-El. Batman is Alfred, Batman, Batgirl, Robin, Dick Grayson, the Joker, the Penguin, the Riddler. You know what I mean? It's ingrained. That's all they need to know. Catwoman. Here we go. In an interview, Denny said that he had the gender swap Penguin because Batman doesn't have enough villains. They literally created Harley, and I said that before. I don't know if you popped in here and stuff, right? I've been all over the place, but yeah, that's what I mean. There's a zeitgeist of people who have had enough of this crap, and we have common sense. Go back and look what Paolo said he could have done with the show. You know what I mean? It's simple. That's why I'm hoping this is like a marketing thing. They're being made to do some of this, and part of their job is to, we got to save the show. I mean, I really don't care. This is a show where I really don't care if it makes it or not. I'm done. I have both Batman, the animated series, and Batman Beyond in DVD. I need to transfer it to NVMe before it goes bad. Yeah, I've heard about this DVD rot from DVDs from the 2000s. I got the episode forward and burned out. Yeah, see, you're the third, me, you, another person. I think I heard from somebody else at some point in a private message. But anyway, 4 episodes is basically what people are getting to, and it's not even a complete 4 episodes, I mean, like I said, I watched the first 10 or 15 minutes of that, and I can't even, of the 4th episode, not even 12 hours ago, and I can't even think what it was about. I just don't care. Exactly. Don't mess with the formula. It works. It's been built on for years. I mean, that's the essence of these characters. The whole point of storytelling is where you stay true to the character. And if they evolve or change, you do it through story. You take a character, you put them in horrible situations, you give them things to rise up against, and that's that's how you evolve a character and stuff. You have to stay true. It's that person in a situation. How would they react? At the comic collector, when they shipped Harley and Ivy, they took them out of the villain pool because gay people can't be shown to do anything bad. That is true in media, at least. Yeah. Which is ridiculous because Penguin in the Gotham TV show was gay and it worked well for that series. True Palo. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's so much stuff they could have done that this was unnecessary and it just didn't work. Then there's a part of this to where, like, I'm keeping up that hope that they've been made to do this. They're not really thinking like this anymore, for real. They haven't done the Kool-Aid thing. But then there's a thing where could be giving them too much credit. Maybe this is their level of talent now. This is just screwed up. You know what I mean? Like, the creativity is gone, or maybe they are saving it for something that they could have more of a stake in. I don't know. There's definitely a lack of creativity and stuff, right? So let's just, it's again, people are getting sick of this, man. Let's just like recycle what we have. It's ridiculous. Here we go. So Timm couldn't do a Mr. Shah's story from Amazon. No, apparently not. And could you imagine having a serial killer in the 40s before people knew what a serial killer actually was? That would be amazing. I'm seeing the sideshow freak thing with him, the traveling circus. You know what I mean? I could see that with a 40s version of Croc. See, that's just the whole deal, man. We could take modern characters, and I think we would accept them being placed in the 40s, even though they weren't there during the golden age and stuff. And if they're done well and they have a story, we can accept that. So this isn't from any place of hate or ism or bigotry or anything like that. So what's going on, right? So thank goodness that we have all of this stuff in different versions. I do suggest holding on to physical media because there's little things that supposedly have already been edited down and stuff, right? But we have the pure forms that are original forms, even with all their flaws before they went Blu-ray with a lot of this stuff, right? And the opening, you still got a lot of the openings on Batman, where you get that one shot of Batman's face and the lightning hits and it comes into view and he's got a white dot right there on his face. All the flaws and stuff like that, because I think in the future, and who knows how far ahead in the future, these are going to be edited down to not be in their original forms. So thank goodness that we have these you can't touch, right? As time goes by, as things change organically, where they organically change, artistically change the way things are supposed to change as they evolve, and people aren't trying to will. It blows my mind how there's so many things I see out there where people are saying things out loud because they're saying things are changing. It's like they've read Harry Potter and they think if they say a magic word and wave their wands, that it's going to change reality. Saying it out loud changes reality. It does not. Okay. And it's like they're trying to will all this stuff to be mainstream and accepted and stuff, and they don't even know really why. So that's why it's good to have it in your hands, so you can remember it and see it and not fall for the fact that somebody's going to say that's a Mandela effect. So I mean, I can actually see them trying to pull a thing 20 years from now if these people are still around being like, Penguin's always been a woman. Yeah, they serve no purpose. Yeah, most of the changes were pointless. It was missing Paul Dini. There's a lot of great writers on there, so I'm not going to take away from Paul Dini, but Paul Dini was a huge part of the formula, right? They got Ed Brubaker working on this, Cape Crusader, Greg Rucka. I'm a mixed bag with Ed Brubaker. He has let me down more than anything with just his style of writing. Greg Rucka, pretty good guy. You figure that would be better than what it is with those two guys involved, right? So, of course, like I said, Paul Dini. Paul Dini's a Paul Dini, man. I love it. Just he's had one thing I didn't love when he's touched Batman. I kind of think it's the level of talent now. You can tell how that they can't create. They just change what's successful in the past. If I go by what Jim Starlin said on X, if I look at the big picture of things and come up with my 20% knowing what's going on behind the scenes opinion. Jim Starlin did a tweet when it was still Twitter, I believe, where somebody asked him about going to Marvel, or somehow it came up, but basically his retort was, for what they're paying. Yeah, there's nobody wanting to go back to Marvel because of the pay that they're doing. And you get what you pay for, man. You get what you pay for, you know. But yeah, there's the creative spark is just not there. Too bad these DVDs will have disc rot. Well, yeah, you know, everything ages and stuff. But like I said, you know, you got to. Uh-oh. Yeah, it tried to make me leave. Now it's an official Howler Mouse video. I had a technical thing. Look into Warrior disc sets, disc rots. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Undead Quinn. Yeah, I'll look into that. No problem. I think I got a few good years left with those, though. Of course, like I said, there's Max if you want to, you know, stream it at any time. Okay, guys. What's wild is that I have a stack of comics that I've been trying to show for like about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. We'll just wait on that. May do another show tonight. I'm actually thinking about doing another show this evening. I'm gonna run some errands, starting back at the gym. And things like that. So if anybody wants to like pop in on a show or something, message me on the Instagram. Like, subscribe here, like the videos, share it. A few people have been doing that. I appreciate it. The last video did fantastic. I gained about, I don't know, 5 or 6 subscribers. And a lot of compliments, a lot of thumbs up. But if you want to pop on here, you know, get a hold of me through Instagram. So make sure you go to Howler Mouse on Instagram. Hopefully a link will pop up in the when this uploads in the rerun. And yeah, we can set something up. Got a few people I still would like to follow through with what we were talking about. Shannon and I from called him Shannon for so long, I can't think of his YouTube handle. We're supposed to be talking about Crisis. We've been talking about that for a few months. 2 old school guys who were there before and after and during, and 1 or 2 other people. So if you want to do a little show or something like that, go to Instagram, message me there. I usually get back to you in the same day, if not the next morning. And if I answer you immediately, it means, you know, I got to sit down. So anyway, got a few things to do today. I'm going to try to hit the gym and hopefully pop up here and maybe show some new comics. All right, let's go out with the last comment here. I am Vengeance. I am the Night. I am Ex-Punisher. There you go. That is a way to go. Okay, guys. Later. Be excellent to each other. Thank you for being here. I enjoyed my time with you. Get you a cup of coffee. Enjoy the day. Read your comics. And like I said, like 5 times, probably be excellent to each other. Later.